Hi guys, the Metal Maniac back again, and in this video I'm going to be doing a review of the EP Death Metal by the thrash metal band Minotaur. Now, I would name off the band members, but for some odd reason there are no band member credits, so I don't know who does what or whose name is what or whatever. Yeah, there was, and it's even more confusing because there have been multiple band lineup changes over the years, especially with their vocalist. I think they have gone through like three different vocalists over the years. But yeah, I'll just get right into the songs. Also, this is actually just a two-track EP, so this review might be a little shorter than most reviews. But anyway. So side A is the song "Towards My Eternity," and right away it just starts off with this really cool sort of like uh, opening riff it's like a build up to the actual main riff. Then it goes into the vocals, and then the song starts off. It's really cool. It's a very short bit, but it works very well. Even that it's a very short progression time. Like it's only like a couple of seconds, but yet somehow they're able to build the opening up at that point. Despite the short opening bit. But yeah, the main song is fantastic. Um, Now the vocals are actually very different from their debut album, as well as their no, sorry, they're a debut demo as well as their first full length album because they released a demo before the full length album. Unlike the first two vocalists, um, the vocals aren't as like gruff and growly as the original vocalist on their first demo, and they're not as like typical thrash shouts as on not thrash shouts, but like uh, uh somewhat growly shouts as on their not shouts, but like I don't know, more typical but more slightly more gruff vocals on their first full length. These are a bit more sort of a raspy shout, sort of a raspy shout with a little bit of a hiss behind it and a snarl. They're kind of like what you would expect on something like a blackened thrash release, like something like blackened thrash metal. But yeah, the vocals are fantastic. The instrumentation's fantastic. There's not really that much in the way of a solo. But but everything else makes up for it because this song is just great. It has a very cool, like, catchy rhythm to it. Um, but yeah, Towards My Eternity is great, and just the vocal performance again is just really good. It has a really great sort of evil aggression to it. Um, but yeah, Towards My Eternity is fantastic. And then the second and last song on here is the actually my favorite song. Not only my favorite song on here, but my favorite Minotaur song in general is actually a re-recorded version of the song called "Total Decay," which originally appeared on their debut demo, with their featuring their original vocalist. Now, of course, they had to re-record it for here because they didn't have that same vocalist as they did back then. Um, Oh, also, I don't know if I mentioned this already. I completely forgot if I did or not, but this was released in 1990. Anyway, so yeah, they had a different vocalist by now. Anyway, so yeah, Total Decay is fantastic. This version compared to the original version, even though the original version is still fast, aggressive, and chaotic, this re-recorded version is that, but like 10 times so. Like it's even a lot more. Like it's like triple, quadruple fast. More energetic, more chaotic, and more aggressive than even the original version. And just the added bonus of this particular vocalist and his vocal style just adds to it again, as well as the instrumentation as well. This band clearly shows that they have also has just improved at this point by then. Like everything's a bit more tighter, a bit more like not precise but like a bit more, I guess like it sounds a bit more professional than when they first started from their first demo. Even though I think that demo is fantastic as well in terms of instrumentation, but you could tell the improvement in the instrument, just the overall instrumentation compared to when they first started. Um, in the original version. But yeah, it's another fantastic song, and it's my favorite. It's actually my favorite version of the song. I still love the original version, but this re-recorded version is just way. It's just on another level. And it's my favorite song on here, and in terms of just this band, it's my favorite song from them. But those are the songs. But so I'm gonna just go over the artwork really quickly and everything, and then my overall thoughts. So for the artwork, it's very simple, but it works very well. It's literally just a black, not a black, a white backdrop with a black banner with the logo on it, as well as just a demon skull. Now, I really love their logo. It's not too over the top, but it is unique enough that it stands out among other band logos. Um, it's really cool. Like you have this sort of like not quite old cursive or like old fashioned font. Like is this it has a sort of like old feel to it, like a medieval feel to the font without being that without going so far as to make it so ornate that you can't read it. But and I love the sort of sharp edges that the M and R have. Gives it the impression that the letters have like fangs or something like that. Um, as well as I love the skull design here with the demon horns and stuff. It's like the demon skull and you have the fangs and stuff here. Um, now, what was I gonna say? Um, there is actually another version of this, a re-release from 2002. The artwork is the same, but the colors are completely swapped. Like on here, on the 2002 re-release, the colors were anywhere there's black on here, there's white. There's white the white is on there on the re-release, and anywhere there's black white on here, there's black on the black parts on the re-release. So it's like the colors are completely like inverted or like swapped around. But yeah. Now I actually have to get there's like multiple layers of like plastic of the plastic like sleeves. I didn't do this. The person I bought it from, I bought it off of Discogs, and the person who I bought it from like put this like in multiple plastic sleeves. Now you'll see why in a minute. And like at first when I first got it, like why is this so like overly like protected? But you'll see in a minute when I get to the actual like original case that's in here. Also they did add an extra inner sleeve in case, so that's pretty good just to have an extra one. Hold on. Be very careful with this. Oh, I'm gonna just show you the back really quickly. So the back, as you can see, there's a picture of the band members here, but there are no band member credits. And then there's the track listing there. And then you get sort of just an advertisement for the record company, Remedy Records, with a really cool record company logo. Like, look at the R&R here. It kind of looks like a really cool, like, blade, like a bladed thing, like almost like a guillotine blade, but like the bottom part is two different blades, and they're not connected like the top part. It's really cool looking, very unique. Oh, sorry. What the hell? Why is my camera messing up? Sorry if like the lighting's fading in and out. I have no idea what's going on with that. Haven't had that happen in a while. Anyway, lighting issues aside, there it goes again. And it's not my lamp either. I have a lamp up here. That's not the issue. It's the actual camera messing up for some reason. But there's that. And then, like I said, the actual case is made very, very weirdly. Hold on, I'm gonna try to get this out without actually like messing it up. Because not only is it thin, the reason why it's thin is very strange. So the case itself is very similar to a J card from a cassette case, where it's literally just a folded sheet of paper. Now this is not a bootleg or an unofficial release or anything, so it has no reason to be this really cheaply made like case, but it is for some weird reason. Like I said, it's like a J card from a cassette, just a folded piece of paper. That's the actual case that it comes in. And then there's just the inner sleeve there. It just sits in the little pocket here. So, and it's just everything, even this inner sleeve is super, super like thin. Like the paper it's made out of is super thin. So I'm pretty sure that's the reason why this came in like multiple plastic sleeves, just so, because it's just a very weirdly badly made case and it's super thin as well. Although I do want to take this out really quick. Hold on. I really love the center sticker on here on both sides. On the side A, you get the Remedy Records sort of a logo, again with that really cool design, and in this really cool sort of silver metallic kind of color as well. If you could see, it's like a very shiny silver metallic color, as well as the logo and the words and everything, and the logo of the band as well. Really cool. Love that shiny metallic look. I don't know if you could see it on camera, but it's actually quite reflective. But and also have to be very careful. This vinyl itself is super, super thin. I have to be careful not to accidentally, mess it up. It's like a paper thin vinyl. Well, not paper thin, but close, very close to being paper thin. Anyway, hold on. So I don't usually take this out. I try not to take it out of the actual like first plastic sleeve if I can. I usually just, leave it in the first plastic so I don't mess up the case. Again, very thin, very oddly poorly made. Hold on. I just usually keep this plastic sleeve on and just take the vinyl in and out, like just like pulling it out right here instead of taking the sleeve off and stuff. Because anyway, hold on, it's not quite in there. Hold on. Yeah, and it's also very difficult to try to get this back in as well because the paper's so thin. You just really have to like make sure it gets in there and it doesn't get stuck on the corners or anything. Anyway. So, overall, this is actually my favorite release by this band, despite it being kind of obscure, an obscure release in their discography. This band isn't very well known pretty much at all, except for like really hardcore fans of this band. Like, it's not a very well known band, and even back then, I don't think they were very well known. The only release of theirs that's sort of kind of more well known ish is actually their first full length album. I can't remember the name of that one, although I believe it was released in 1988. I said 86 in my previous video when I showed this during my music collection update, but I'm pretty sure that's wrong because the first demo came out in 86. The second demo came out in 87, and I'm pretty sure it was after the second demo, so it was most likely 1988 that first full-length album came out. But that one, even though I don't remember the name of it, but yeah, I'm pretty sure the year was 1988 when that one came out. But that's really the only sort of well-known release by them. But even so, this is pretty obscure. Even fans of this band usually just talk about that album, maybe their debut demo, and like their most recent two releases. One being a full length one being an EP. But yeah, it should not be looked over. Like the vocals are fantastic. Like I would give the vocalist like really credit. I really want to know who did vocals on this release. Like I have no clue. But the vocals are great. They're sort of like black and thrash vocals. Like they're this really sort of like raspy, sort of like gravelly hiss. That also is combined with more of a shout as well. They're hard to describe, but they're kind of similar to not black and death metal vocals, black and thrash metal vocals, sorta. But not quite at that level. But it's sort of similar. Um, what was I gonna say? Although they do kind like the vocal work on here does kind of sound like the vocalist on their second full length album from 2009. I can't remember the name of that vocalist. But again, sort of similar, but not quite enough to where I like 100% believe it's that same vocalist. But the vocals are definitely somewhat similar. So it might be him. It might be someone completely different on here. Again, I have no idea why they didn't put the band member credits on here. Anyway, the production is really good. It's sort of an in between. So it's raw, but not quite as raw as their debut demo and their second demo. But it's not quite as polished as their later releases. It's sort of that sweet in between spot. Although I think there is one other version of this besides the 2002 release, which was actually a compilation that contained this and something else. I can't remember what it was, but I can't remember. But it was a compilation that I think came out during the mid to late 90s. But it was on cassette, and the audio was actually pretty raw. I don't know if the what happened, but if it was like a bad transfer. But the only audio available for this on YouTube, even though it shows the picture of this specific release, the audio is from that compilation cassette. And that cassette has a raw audio, even though it came out after this version. But who knows? Maybe it was from like a different master tape or something. But anyway, yeah, the production is great. Again, sort of like that sweet spot in between being raw but also not too raw. Even though I like very raw audio on a lot of stuff, but I also like the in between stuff when it fits the music being played, and it fits this very well. That sort of in between style, sort of that in between thing. And yeah, the instrumentation's fantastic. The guitar work, the drumming, again the vocals, everything's just fantastic. Honestly, yeah, this is a absolutely. I consider this an actual masterpiece. Honestly, yeah, to me it's a 10 out of 10. And if you really want to get into this band, definitely start. This is actually a pretty good place to start, even though it's not one of their very first releases. It's definitely a good release to start off with. And definitely try to track this down if you can. Again, there's 3 different versions. The compilation version from the mid to late 90s is pretty much unattainable. This original version from 1990 is actually not too hard to find and not even really that expensive. And then the 2002 re-release is also not that expensive, not that hard to find. But yeah. So that's about it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you all next time.